New Year, same bitches.
Happy New Year's, everyone. Welcome back to the Spiritual Sisters Podcast 2024. It's Nichole. Hey.
The Hot Mess Express continues.
Ooh, we told you guys. We
Yeah.
told you. New Year,
Nothing's
same
changed.
us. Who are you?
I'm your younger sister. I'm here. This is our second attempt at recording.
This is. Okay. Damn it. I got to remember everything we ran through earlier. Okay. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Hope everybody had a great New Year, a safe New Year, and a fun New Year. And that's it. I don't give a fuck about New Year's. So hope everybody that does enjoyed it.
We talked about that. We said, well, why don't you like it? And I was like, well, I don't like it for the same reasons. And you're like, what reasons are that?
I forgot, yeah. Yeah, because it's expensive, because we don't trust drunk drivers, and
it's past our bedtime.
It's past our bedtime. We're old ladies. Yes. Okay. Also, happy upcoming birthday to my favorite little Capricorn. My first favorite Capricorn. My little
Your
brother.
husband's a Capricorn.
Yeah, but this was my first Capricorn. The first little baby I ever fell in love with. He was so cute. My little brother. Sorry about that time that I dropped you on your head in front of CVS. I think you're fine.
Did you really?
Yeah, I totally dropped him when he was probably less than 2 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Totally dropped. He's fine.
No, he's totally fine.
He's totally fine.
He's just the coolest guy.
He is. We love you. Happy birthday. Almost birthday. I think you're going to be 31. Yeah. Okay. Gosh. Also, shout out to our pod friends and fam. So, shout out to Katie and Kelly from All Things Outrageously, Dark, Scary, Beautiful, and Totally True.
Hey.
Take that, Scott and Ryan. Shout out to Scott and Ryan from Beyond the Shadows. Shout out to Felicity at the Equestrian Perspective. Allie and Mandy from Behind the Emerald Veil. I always get them and Beyond the Shadows. I always mix up the Beyond and the Behind. Yeah. Same. Behind the Emerald Veil. Who else?
Common Mystics.
Common Mystics. Hey, ladies. We still love you.
Eventually,
call
Queen
us.
Mother.
Slide into the DMs. Eventually, our Queen Mother is going to have her podcast coming out. And shout out to Graveyard Tales. And who else?
Joseph.
Oh, shit. You butchered that name. Hold on.
I did. That's why I'm not saying it.
Okay. I feel like...
Trails, Taverns, and Tales.
No.
Oh. Oof. Triple T.
Tales, Trails, and Taverns. I think we got it right the second time. Tales, Trail. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was the Trails first or the Tales. Tales, Trails, and Taverns. I really pride myself on getting things like names correctly and spelling of names and things like that because I think those things are important. So it really frustrates me when I mess up. Like Behind the Shadows. I think I called them Behind the Shadows once and not Beyond the Shadows because I'm telling you I get Behind and Beyond confused.
We feel the same way about 2, 2, and 2. I judge myself. Anytime I post a story and like I've already had hundreds of views, I was like, guys, I can't take it back. But I'm cringing for those 24 hours.
Same. There, and there. Okay. What else? So in 2024, we are going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to do some card pulls. I think we decided we're going to keep those until the end of the show. So stick around. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at
The Spiritual Sisters Podcast.
Follow Gabrielle
at Agua Astrology.
Follow me
at Mom Wifey Therapist.
And don't forget to leave us a review on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen. Reminder, guys, if you listen on Spotify, but if you're an Apple user, could you please leave us a 5-star rating and a written review on Apple Podcasts? We may or may not have bribed people in the past for doing that. So if you are interested in being bribed as well, send us a screenshot and let us know that it was you, and we might bribe you. We're going to reward Matt. We're going to reward that.
Oh, that. Yeah. Our previous, what would they, bribees? Bribees. Yes. We're very happy with their bribes. So.
Yes.
And then
if you have been wanting to try a Starbucks holiday drink but don't want to spend the money, this is how you can get your Starbucks holiday drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. And check out our services, guys. We both are readers. We have other things like Amazon affiliates.
We'll include some links.
We're going to do workshops this year.
Yeah.
We have some things planned.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump in because we got to record another episode very soon. Okay, what are we talking about today, Missy?
Intention setting.
Intention setting. Okay, now what is intention setting?
Well,
break it down.
You didn't like my original definition.
Yeah, that's probably why the recording didn't go through. It was like, that was lame.
Erase. Then I was like, well, what's the difference between an intention and a goal? So where we got to, guys, was intentions like the big, big, big overarching theme. Mm-hmm. And the goals are like the little baby steps you take to get there to make that intention come to life.
Correct.
Hey.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the example I gave was, if one of my personal intentions this year is to get pregnant, that is my intention, the goal may consist of monthly ovulation tracking for 3 months or however many months is needed. It may consist of, what was the other goal?
Cycle syncing?
Oh, cycle syncing. If I want to get more information about my cycle. So maybe it would start with that. Well, first I'm going to cycle sync for 3 months, and then I'm going to start tracking my ovulation for that time as well as after my cycle has synced. It might be, oh, well, you know what? I need to have sex too. So maybe that's a goal that I need to do that. By that, I mean my husband.
I was going to say your face. I was like, she don't look too excited.
It's because I go to bed early. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So maybe the goal is to make sure that I'm making sweet, sweet love during my ovulation period time. So that would be the intention, is to get pregnant. And then those are the goals, the steps that are going to be taken along the way to meet that intention.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to get pregnant.
There's so much work to get pregnant.
And then even more work after.
These teenagers are just getting pregnant, no problem. Must be nice, 17-year-olds. Okay. So there is also a lot of intention work that we do when we have a spiritual practice or just in the practice in general. So why don't you tell us some of those and what those might look like?
I have a couple. I won't go into too much detail unless you're curious, but some examples that we do on the podcast, we set containers. So we'll say a prayer at the beginning and the end, and we rebuke all negative energies from coming in because we don't fuck with that. I do the same thing within my readings with my one-to-ones, with my sitters. So I'll do like a prayer at the beginning, and I do a closing prayer at the end. And then I find myself doing a lot of like intention setting when I'm exercising and also with my food, which we were talking about prep for this episode. I was like, Nichole, I don't even remember some of the things that you remember from like when we were younger in my childhood.
Yeah. You're like, because I was an adult already, so that's why I remember.
Yeah, you're like, you always used to pray over your food. And now it's like almost like Reiki, like prayer, and just asking like and thanking the animal for like giving its life so it could nourish me. I do that with my food. Just because I think about and then I'm not going to try not to get too off track. We're going to do that in 2024, guys. We're not getting off track in 2024.
Nice.
I know. I think about the environment that the food was, or that the animal was in, right? So if the chicken is it's crazy chicken, it's with hundreds of other chickens and they're about to be slaughtered. I'm like, am I ingesting that energy into my body? I always think about that.
So
do I got you thinking?
Well, kind of. So we were in Vegas recently, and we were at this restaurant for my husband's birthday. And oh my gosh, how do you say it? Foie gras? Foie gras? Foie gras? Whatever it is. How do you say it? What?
I don't know.
Joseph will tell us. Mr. Tails, Trails, and Taverns.
No, it's not Celtics, it's Celtics. Savannah did too, so it's fine. It's appreciated.
Foie gras? I don't know. Anyway, it's duck liver.
It's actually pretty good.
Well, I wouldn't eat it. I wouldn't eat it. Mm-hmm. So I was asking my husband, why is this? Why? Because every time he sees it on a menu, he wants it.
Interesting.
Because it's not available here in California. And so he was telling me the reason why it's not available.
Oh.
And I was horrified.
Why is it not available?
Because the way you have to fatten up the duck to get the fatty liver
is unethical.
Very, very. So anyway, I'll tell you off air what he told me they do. It's bad. And I was like, that's horrible. I definitely don't want to eat that. Mm-hmm. But I do like a good bacon, so.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking, do you remember we were getting our makeup done for the photo shoot when I was dying? Mm-hmm. And she was talking about the girl that we had come to the hotel to do our hair and makeup, and she was telling us about the company that she orders from. So I do think that there's companies out there that are ethical that, follow sustainable practices as well. But probably. I always think about it. I'm like, really the only meat sources that I consume are chicken and cow, certain parts of the cow. But other than that, I really don't. And yeah. And I always think about the environment. But okay, so that's one.
Turkey.
I don't like turkey. Yeah, I don't like turkey. So Thanksgiving, I mean, it's our holiday, but I'm not really big on the type of food.
Not even like ground turkey meat?
No, I got sick from it once. So when I get sick from food, I'm dying. I'll never eat it again, or I have a hard time consuming it. But another thing that I do is when I'm in the shower, I will.
Oh yeah, that's on here.
I will thank the water and I will ask it to help cleanse me and my aura and my chakras. And I also do that when I'm exercising because we like to cycle on the beach. And I always think about dad and your husband's voice in the back of my head. He's like, oh, you're bucking the wind, like you're pedaling against the wind, But at that time, because we live by the beach, I'm asking the air to cleanse me as I'm going. And I'm very intentional in my thoughts as I'm exercising and moving because I feel like I'm co-creating with the universe.
We were talking about that earlier because some of the elements that we use in rituals would be fire, water, and maybe earth, right? I think there's a lot of maybe earth magic that people do. And I was wondering though about the air, and you were saying that you do use the air when you're out cycling. So that's one of the ways. Okay, so
how do you use the earth? We do a lot of fire magic, and we're obviously water babies, but how do you use earth?
I don't, but I'm wondering if grounding to the earth could be a way that people are using earth for intention setting, because when you're grounding, what is the intention? I don't do it enough.
I'm just, when I'm grounding, and so what I'll do, I'll just share, I'll walk outside, and we live on a busy street, but I'll walk outside like a crazy person, and I'll just stand straight up in the front of the house.
Right, but what's the purpose of grounding?
Oh, it's to literally bring my soul back into my human body. Otherwise, I'm just like a space cadet.
Right, so that's the intention, right? So the intention is to bring your soul back to your body. And the way you're going to do that is by grounding. So maybe the goal is to ground for 5 minutes a day out on the front lawn.
I have a really hard time grounding. Do you?
Yeah, I never do it.
I know, but it's so funny because me and Elizabeth, your energy is very grounding for us.
Which is so funny because I feel like that's so funny. I had a lot of people tell me that when I asked what my gifts were. A lot of people were saying that, and I was thinking how odd that was to hear because I feel so ungrounded all the time.
Isn't that so
But I
annoying
really
that
appreciated it.
we can read other people for filth, but like we can't see our own shit? Or like, so annoying.
Okay, so some other times where intention setting is being used in spiritual practices is going to be, so we talked about connection. So anytime we are going in to connect with our guides or connect with energy, we are setting intentions with that. And then we'll come back to these. So also when we're using maybe some kind of divination tool, so even when we receive a divination tool and we are intending to bind our energy to the tool, that is also an intention. Anytime we're cleansing an area, cleansing a tool, there's also intention behind that. There's intention behind protection. There's intention when you're using maybe some type of plant medicine. And then cleansing, I guess, falls under the same category as like showering, like you were saying earlier, how you'll use the shower to kind of cleanse your energy. So the intention is, okay, I'm going to cleanse my energy of the day, and this is how I'm doing it. So tell us a little bit about what it looks like when you are using an intention when you're going in to connect. What does that typically look like?
I was thinking about that because it's so funny. Like people who are like with my sitters, I don't know if people know this, but, and you and I have both been on the same side or different sides of the coin with respect to like being the reader and being the one who is being read. And I know like in my first couple of readings that I ever had, I would never say anything or give any kind of information away because I was like, no, like I need this to, my ego was like, I need this to be proven to me. Right. But now being on the other side of it, I'm like, you're going to get so much more out of your reader if you give them specific things that you're looking into. And you're kind of giving them like an area of life or asking specific questions about it, right? So for me, with my return clients, I think they just know because sometimes in the form they'll just be like career, money, love, which seems to be like the main topics that people are really interested in, right? Rightfully so. And they'll just put those 3 words. And I'm like, all right, well, it makes me a better reader because there's not really much to work with. I just know I'm looking in those areas. But if it was more specific, they would, I think, get a little bit more information. So all this to say, if they give me an area of life that they're interested in knowing more about from an intuitive perspective, I'll connect first with my energy and make sure I'm grounded as best as I can be. And then I'll call their energy in and their spirit team in. And I'm going in and like, all right, like, please give me what you have available for them to know because sometimes they're not supposed to know. So it's setting the intention that like I am here because they asked me to be here and I am going in to give information about this specific area of life for said sitter. So that is the one way I connect is just making sure I'm clear and then I'm going in and getting as much as possible and that they need to know for that respective area of life.
And if you're like me, because I've heard the games that your guides like to play with people.
My guides. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're like
you don't
me,
have that problem.
You just kind of bypass it all. You're like, look, this is what I did. Look, I'm not going to play these games with you guys. She asked me to be here. I'm allowed to be here. And that's just what we're doing.
It's
I've
so
never
funny.
done that with anybody else, but I was just like, I'm not in the mood to play any games with her team right now. So I'm just going to let them know that we're not going to do that.
But do you ever find that, like, take me aside, that it's easier with certain people than it is with others? Like, it's almost like it's more, I don't know if it's like resistance is the right word, where we have a harder time as readers getting information for them because they're trying to control the situation or not supposed to know about it. And like, good Lord, like I still do that shit. And we do this professionally,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, in connection, we're setting that intention to receive the message that the person needs to hear. I know for me, it's what they need to hear, not just what they want to hear. Also, the intention is to connect with maybe only beings of high vibration and rebuking any of the negative energies. That's also another intention that we set. And then also, even for ourselves, we're setting intentions when we go in to connect. I know recently I've been kind of playing around with the idea of, well, I don't want to always connect. I just sometimes want to meditate, because sometimes it feels like a lot of extra work and a lot of extra steps to set the intention and to set the protocols and to do the protection and all of that. And sometimes I think, because I'm not as well practiced in it, that it still takes me a long time. So I'd rather, I think, just sit and meditate and not worry about all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that?
You're just doing it for you. That's your intention. Yeah. It's like you're just there to be present with your own energy. By the way, this is actually something else I've noticed. It's harder for me to read myself. Well, I'm also really controlling, so maybe I'm not supposed to know, but I said it, guys. I have a harder time reading for myself because I'm trying to control situations, and that's definitely a safety thing that I probably picked up in my inner child somewhere along the lines, right? So, but I will say that, taken aside, it is harder for me as a reader to read my own energy after having read for so many people, and I think that's why it's so important to have the intention behind having a practice like you're speaking to, like just literally connecting for the sake of connecting, not getting anything out of it.
Right. And then let's move on to anytime we're using a divination tool. And so if you guys think back to our divination tool episode, if you haven't listened to it, it is episode 8 or 9.
Oh, it's somewhere out there.
It's in the single digits. So go check it out if you haven't listened to it. So what are the divination tools? Well, a divination tool could be oracle cards. It could be a pendulum. It could be, what else?
Crystals.
Yeah, crystals.
Sage.
Even, maybe it isn't a divination tool, but a lot of times candles are used in intention setting. We'll get to that. But whenever, for example, what do you do when you get a new deck?
I cleanse it.
You cleanse it. And how do you cleanse it?
Well, I'll put it under the moon, or I'll put it on my altar. I'll sage it. I usually I only ever touch my cards with clean hands. You can transfer energy onto them.
Interesting. Okay.
And I touch all of them. Because I want it to bind to my energy.
Right. So you guys have maybe seen me pull some pendulums out of my bra before. That was me binding the pendulum to my energy. Sometimes I might sleep with it under my pillow to also bind it to my energy. But yeah, when I get a card, the intention is, okay, well, I need this card to be connected to my energy. So that's the intention. How do we do that? The way Gabby said. We'll maybe sage it. During a full moon, we'll charge it under the light of the full moon. And then it was funny because earlier I was binding a couple of my decks to my energy. And Gabby's like, what are you doing? Because I touch every single card. I rub it through my hands and I really get all up in there. And Gabby's like, oh, I just kind of do like a little wipe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I go for it. So that's another way that we are setting intentions to use the tools, because we want to make sure that we're getting information from the tools that are best serving the people that we're working with. Otherwise, what's the point of using them? What's the point of using a card deck if we're not going to be getting cards that are suited for that person? Also, anytime we're cleansing maybe our space, we're setting intentions when we are cleansing our space. And that might be to, remove any stagnant energy or whatever the case may be. But there is a lot of power in setting that intention. One example I have is in my group message. There's a group chain, whatever, group message, I guess.
Text?
Yeah. Group text. On WhatsApp with the girls from Soul Reading. And one of them was asking a question one day about something that was going on, and she was trying to cleanse the area. And so someone was giving her some suggestions on ways she could cleanse the area. And she was saying, I do cleanse the area, but I think she was saying that she wasn't being as maybe mindful of the intention. So she was saying, you know what, let me put more of that into the cleansing and see if that helps. And then the next day she said, yeah, I was actually very mindful when I was cleansing and very present in what I wanted it to achieve. And she was saying, whatever issue she had been having was now gone. So you can light sage just to light it and go through your house, but if you're not doing it the right way, and if you don't have that intention of this is what I'm trying to do with this, is it really going to work? It may or may not. And sometimes people have reported, side note, sometimes people have reported that any kind of activity ramps up if they have gone to sage their house, if they haven't done it correctly. So if you guys are saging your house, not only are you wanting to make sure that you have your intention set behind it, but you guys make sure you're opening your windows and doors so that the energy can be carried out. So sometimes that's not happening and people are reporting that they're seeing more things happening.
It's such a process. Like
it is such a process.
Such a process. I'm sorry for you having to sage your house every time.
Every time she comes.
Except this last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, let's see. Anytime we are, by we I don't mean me because I have too much anxiety, but anytime someone is maybe using some kind of plant medicine.
By we I mean me.
Yeah. God, by we I don't mean me. I would love to. I would love to not have anxiety. And to just be able to pop pills.
Those reels, yeah, where like there's those dancers or the funny ones where it's like you're 21 and you're like at a rave and you're just taking whatever's handed to you by a stranger. Yeah. And then you're like 31, right? And then you're reading the back of every food label. I love sending them to Nichole.
Because it's so me. So me. But when you're doing plant medicine, there is a lot of intention work behind using the plant medicine. For sure. Even something as simple as microdosing, right? What is the intention of you taking the microdose? What is the intention of you using that plant medicine at that time? Did you set any intentions?
I did, but I don't remember what they were, so obviously they weren't that important. But that was right around the time where I was like not feeling well. It was like summertime, and your girl was going through it. But I think if I were to do microdosing now, which I am open to, I think my body is just, it needs that break. I would probably set the intention around my and my inner child and my self-worth, because I know that they're both linked. Something around that.
Okay. Yeah. So, anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, but I can't wait to do an episode on ayahuasca.
Oh, it's going to be a deep dive. Okay. So, why are we talking about intention setting at the beginning of the year? Because we know that not everybody is not a New Year, same us kind of people, kind of person. We know that some people really do want to set intentions for the year. So we wanted to just kind of give some examples of what the intention could look like for the year versus what the goals might look like, just to kind of get you thinking. We know this is coming out January 2nd, so we might be a couple days late for some people that were ready to get going on January 1st. But also, oh no, January 1st is on a Monday this year. It's okay, guys. You can start on Tuesday. One day isn't going to make that much of a difference. Okay. So let's use the intention of, I'm going to use 2024 to be in the greatest health that I've ever had, or to be at my optimal health in 2024. So that might be someone's intention. So Gabs, Miss Certified Personal Trainer, whatever. Is there more? Are you something else?
CPT. That's
CPT.
correct.
Okay. So If somebody came to you and you were still training and said,
Mhm.
okay, in 2024, I want to be the healthiest I've ever been,
Mhm.
what would be some goals that you think you would work with?
Well, I would, 1, have them do a whole audit. What are you doing? What are you not doing? I would say you gotta spend some time in the gym, commit to 4 to 5 days a week, just as an example. Make sure you're sleeping 7 to 8, 6 to 8, somewhere in there, hours. Drinking your water. I also think just because you and I have gone through the weight loss cycles, people don't realize, oh, and getting your steps in. People don't realize that it's a whole system to lose weight. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's, like, a spiritual side to it sometimes because it's an emotional thing for some people because your body will hold
Well,
on to it.
well, let's even just take weight loss out of it. What if the goal for this person isn't necessarily weight loss, but the goal
Mhm.
is just I just want to be the healthiest I've ever been.
Just something for yourself every day related to that in that wheelhouse. What would you do if you were trying to do something like that? For me, I would probably just, like, start walking outside if I didn't already do that. Or I'd be sure to drink a certain amount of water just
Mhm.
because those are, like, staples that you know are good for you. So I'd probably
Mhm.
do something like that, those small little goals to reach that intention.
Right. So we would want to be very specific with that too. How much water are we drinking? I know for me, my goal is 100 ounces a day. That's kind of always been. I used to drink a
It's a
gallon a
lot.
day, but 100 ounces is kind of my go-to. But it isn't. It is, but it isn't. It's
It isn't,
really
yeah.
attainable because first thing in the morning when I'm going to the gym, I'm drinking 8 ounces of water in a non-stimulant pre-workout before I get to the gym. I'm drinking 32 ounces of a water bottle during my workout and on my way home from the workout. So usually by 6:30 in the morning, when I'm going to the gym at 5 a.m., I've taken in 40 ounces of water. I only need to drink 2 more Stanleys throughout the day to meet my 100 ounces. And I've at that point probably gone over 100
Mhm.
ounces. So it might be something specific like drinking 100 ounces of water, getting 10 steps, or sorry, 10,000 steps in a day. It might
Mhm.
look like you said sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. It might be getting your regular checkups with your doctor.
Mhm.
Are you getting your physicals? Are you getting your blood work? It might look like going to see an acupuncturist once a month. It might be getting chiropractic care once a month. I think you're supposed to do it more often than that, but getting a monthly massage, right? It can be all of those little things. So all of those small goals to help you reach that the bigger goal or the bigger intention of being the healthiest version of yourself in that year.
Mhm.
So that could be an example of a health and fitness. And then if somebody does have more specific goals like weight loss or weight gain, then you're going to want to make sure that you're focusing on those things, cutting your calories in a realistic way if you're focused on weight loss and increasing your calories to have good calories if you're focused on weight gain. So
Mhm.
those would be some other components. Now, let's just say the intention for the year is I need a new job. I'm not happy where
Ugh.
I'm at and I need a new career. What might those goals look like to help you
Well,
reach that?
I'm in that space right now.
So, what are the small goals you're taking to reach that larger intention?
Well, finding work is work. I will just say that.
Mhm.
I have updated my resume.
Mhm.
I make it a staple to because I'm still working a full-time job and I obviously have my business. Um, Apply for at least 10 to 15 jobs a week that are in the area that I would be interested in working. And another thing too is like skill
Mhm.
sets you can build up on. Maybe you can get your current employer to pay for them. But like, for example, one's just coming to mind, like on LinkedIn, they have a lot of those courses that you can improve your skill sets or whatever skill set is that you're looking to improve, but also on YouTube.
Mhm.
And then Udemy is another one, but there's little things like that in different platforms where you can just really go ahead and hone in and prove your skill set so you can be more attractive to an employer for a better opportunity.
Mhm. So that'd be a good way to focus on the career goal for the year if that was a goal you had. Now, let's just say the goal is to find partnership. You have a romantic goal, a goal of more romance in your life. What are you going to do, Gabs?
I mean, I'm in that world too. I don't know. That one's kind of hard. Dating apps are not for me. So maybe you need to let me know because I don't really have luck in that area. So I don't feel like I can advise.
Wow.
Leaving my house is one starter. So
right.
I
So
don't leave my
for
house.
someone like you, it might be saying yes more often to social invites by friends, because not every social invite has to be with the possibility of there being a romantic
That's
connection.
True.
Sometimes it's just the practice of getting out there and spending time with friends. You never know if you're going to maybe meet somebody, but even if you're just going to a friend's house, like you're still getting out. So the goal might be, okay, you know what? I'm going to make an attempt at least once a month to connect and to go out with a friend, whoever that friend might be. It might be, you know what? I'm going to say yes more often to requests for dates. However, I would still say use discernment if you're getting creepy vibes from somebody.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say yes just for the sake of that goal of saying yes. But maybe saying yes more often to someone asking you out. Why are you're just like, what's going on in your head?
I'm just thinking about how much you and I both, I mean, you're married now, so it's different, but we both dislike dating. Like, you hated it.
I hated it, but you know what? I'm really good at it.
Ooh, I don't know this side of you, so.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today, not because I want to date, but I know people that are dating or just, and I always think, God, like, it just sounds so awful, but I think about it and I'm like, no, I'm good at it. It's like interviewing. I'm really good at interviewing. I'm really good at selling myself in an interview.
Yeah.
I don't get nervous for interviews because it's hilarious that I don't get nervous, but I don't. I'm just always very confident with interviews. I'm very confident also when it comes to like dating and meeting people. Yeah. Especially now, I think at my age.
I just remember when you were like in that season of life, like you had some really great dates. Like,
right, that's what I mean. I'm
you
good at it,
but it was great.
But yeah, I'm good at it. I can date very well, and I don't, and not like in a cocky way, not because I think I'm hot or anything, because I don't, but I attract a lot of nice men.
Yeah, you do. It's true.
Yeah, it's my great personality. They love it.
Yes.
So let's see.
Yeah, well, leaving the house is one.
Leaving the house.
Out there. Dating apps for those out there who are that works for. I'm not opposed to getting back on one, especially if I relocate this year, which I think is going to happen. More to come on that.
People say they
down the
like
road.
Hinge. Yeah, I heard Hinge was good.
Yeah.
Hinge wasn't a thing that I ever did.
I can't say, guys, that I haven't had luck on dating apps though, because I have. So I do take that back. It just hasn't been like a consistent thing. So there's probably something there for me to reflect back on and unblock for sure.
Why is it not a consistent thing? That would be what I would want to know.
I'm the problem.
She said it. Thank God. Okay. So those might be some of the things that I would recommend to somebody if they had a romance goal. Also, even looking at yourself as a person. Okay, so what do you think your ideal partner looks like, and what do you think you need to bring to the table to attract your ideal partner? So that might be some work. So for maybe for somebody, they think, well, I really want to be maybe making more money. I want to feel more secure in my career. Then taking a look at those areas too, because I mean, a lot of these are also very intertwined. So taking a look at the internal work that needs to be done. I want to not be so jealous. I want to not be so needy. So what are the things that need to be worked on internally in order to reach that intention of finding a romantic partner? Because for a lot of people, they have a lot of fucking work to do. And if they're not working on it, they're going to struggle with finding a romantic partner because they are not releasing a lot of those old toxic patterns of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something else to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just kind of some ideas of what the intention could look like and versus what the goals might look like to meet that big intention.
Mm-hmm. You have me thinking.
So I'm going to say, so you're going to go out there and date now?
Oh, you guys, okay.
Maybe
You
I
said
should
it here
be a
first.
dating coach.
You know what? I will say, anytime Nichole has set me up on a date with like an acquaintance of hers, I have gone.
I make her.
Yeah.
Like, do it.
No, they're great guys. They're just not for me. But yeah, you got me thinking because I've thought about that in this past year. I'm like, why has it not worked out? And I'm like, was it something within me?
Yep.
Was it something within them?
Nope.
And it's a combination of both, for sure. But
I think it's more you. We don't know who they are. I think right now it's more of a you thing. I think you're not quite ready for it. I think you want to be ready. I think you're not quite ready.
Well, I was thinking
we're going to work on your 2024 intention for romance.
I was thinking about like take like where you were at after, before you got with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what do I need to release before I can fully call that in? And I have an idea of what it is, and it's solar plexus and root for sure. But what you just said is completely true. Like, you really do have to release some shit before you can call in what you're seeking, whether that's romance, career, love, anything like that. And this example came to mind where I was like, why hasn't it's me and there's a couple of other girlfriends in my circle that are, in their early 30s, and we're not yet with their person just yet, but they do attract the same type of person. And it's like a repeated pattern and test and trigger.
Mm-hmm. And it gets harder every time.
And I'm like, it's because you haven't healed that within yourself and you keep calling that same type of situation in. They don't see it. I can see it, but it's the same thing. Like, they can see that for me, which I can't see for myself. So it's really fascinating once you get into the work and you see where your blocks are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you just have to sit with it before you can up level.
Yeah. Okay. So think about what your intentions are for the year, guys. What do you, guys and gals, mostly gals, spiritual girlies, what do you want to call in 2024? And what are the steps that you need to take to call it in? If you want to cleanse your house, what are the steps that you need to take to cleanse your house? Do you need to declutter? Do you need to go buy sage? Do you need to buy Palo Santo also? Like, what are the steps that need to be taken first in order to call in those intentions? Also, yes.
No, I'll have a question for you at the end. Please continue.
Oh, I was gonna say also a little bit kind of going along with what we're talking about today, but we're going to be doing a workshop in February, and it's going to be about creating vision boards. And you guys, this isn't going to be, cutting pictures out of a magazine and putting it on a collage. Like, it's going to be a little bit deeper than that. So if this is something that you're interested in for the week, if this is something that you're interested in for the year, definitely keep an eye out for more information coming for that. And the reason why we decided to do it in February is for a couple of reasons. One, because usually for people that have set goals for the new year, by February, if you haven't stuck to the goal, you will likely have already kind of given up on the goal by February. So we thought that would be a good time to kind of reevaluate, okay, this is what I set up. This is the goal that I set for myself for the year. This is what I want to focus on. This is my intention for the year. But I fell off track. So is this something that is still in alignment with me, or do I want to switch it up and work on something else? So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do it in February. Also, we're going to have it kind of line up a little bit closer with the Lunar New Year, so with like Chinese New Year. So that is something that is going to be coming very soon. So keep an eye out for that. It will be a very nominal fee. We're not going to charge a lot. I don't even know if we know the price yet, but probably somewhere in the $20-something range for, I'm guessing it'll be anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. of a vision board workshop with us. So keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a card pull, but what were you going to ask?
I have 2 comments. I have a question and a comment. The first comment, something just came to mind that I feel called to share. How you spend the first 12 days of the year, set the intention for each of the months within that year.
Ooh.
So spend those first 12 days intentionally, people.
Okay.
I'm going to the beach with Dad on the first day. I'm really excited. And then I asked you this yesterday over text message, but you're like, this is a loaded question. And I said, I asked, what would you like to get out of 2024? What is your 2024 goal? Like, what are you calling in, Nichole?
Oh,
And
gosh.
before the card pool. And we got to make it quick because rapid fire.
We got to make it quick. Okay.
Yeah.
2024. I would like to call in a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to call in financial abundance.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make the most money this year that I've ever made. And I actually think that'll be pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to call in a certain number of downloads for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. It's my big ones.
I love that.
Easy.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Make it quick.
A new 9 to 5, relocation, my partnership, success within our businesses for both you and I, consistent and continued health for the family, and just my word for the year. Oh, what's your word for the year? But my word for the year is serenity. I need this year to be more peaceful than the last one was.
My word's going to be abundance.
There we go. And so it is.
Okay, and so it is. All right, guys. So the card for today, I'm pulling from the Super Attractor Oracle deck by another Gabrielle.
Hey, the OG.
Gabrielle Bernstein.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta wait till I get the right one.
Mm-hmm. It's a process.
Sometimes it jumps out, sometimes it doesn't.
I can see your third eye right now. Isn't that wild?
Okay. Guys, the card for this episode. I don't have to fear my fear. I can use it as a way to get closer to love. Oh, Gabby, this was for you.
Isn't this for our audience?
Yeah, but this is for you.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Gabby Bernstein. Thank you, Super Attractor deck.
Anyway, guys, happy 2024. We can't wait to do this with you for 52 weeks.
I love it.
See you next time.
Bye.